Hello students, in our earlier class we were discussing the chapter reproduction in plants and animals. We revised about the asexual reproduction in plants. So let us continue from there. Today we'll look at asexual reproduction in other organisms. Okay, so there are by different methods. One is known as the fragmentation, binary fission, or by multiple fission, okay, and by budding. So we will be looking at these three methods of asexual reproduction in other organisms. So by the method of fragmentation in organisms like the Spirogyra, okay, which is a green algae, okay, so it has a cell wall, okay, and inside we have the cells are separated in this way, okay, they are filamentous. So inside there is the chlorophyll, okay, chlorophyll is present. It is present in a particular shape like this, okay. So what happens is that this cell wall can break, okay, it can break. So when it breaks, this part of the cell, it is capable of forming the new organism, this fragment, okay. Similarly this fragment and this fragment, all of these fragments are capable of forming a new organism. So that is called fragmentation. Binary fission in most bacteria as well as in Euglena, what happens is a single parental cell, it will divide, okay, cell wall will form in the middle, okay. So to form the two cells, these will separate to form the daughter cells. So it is called a binary fission because two cells are formed here. Whereas in multiple fission, okay, in the algae, unicellular algae like chlorella, and chlamydomonas, what happens is the single cell, okay, it can undergo multiple divisions, okay. So it will undergo multiple divisions and it will form a hard covering around itself, okay. This hard covering is known as the cyst, okay. So inside there is a multiple divisions has taken place, so different number of cells have formed. When favorable conditions will appear, the cyst will dissolve and each of these will release, okay, to form the new daughter cells, okay. So that is the multiple fission. Example is chlorella and chlamydomonas. In budding, which we see in the case of yeast, what happens? So it is like a oval kind of a cell and it can form a small outgrowth like this, okay. This outgrowth, it will enlarge, okay, and the DNA will distribute among these two, okay, two cells, and it will form like the two cells, okay. So this is the budding which is taking place in the yeast. So these are the some methods of asexual reproduction in other organisms. Next, let us look at the sexual reproduction in plants. So sexual reproduction takes place in flowering plants. So what is a flower? A flower is a modified stem, okay, in which the internodes are very much condensed and the leaves, they form that petals and what we see is the different parts of the flower. For example, what are the parts of the flower? When we draw this diagram, generally the flower, it is formed on some kind of a stalk. Okay, the stalk is known as the pedicel or peduncle. Okay, so it is the stalk on which the flower is formed, and on top of that there is a swollen enlarged part which is known as the receptacle or thalamus. Okay, so the flowers which are formed on a stalk are called pedunculate, and those that don't have a stalk peduncle are known as a sessile. Okay, sessile flowers means they will not have the stalk or peduncle. Now there are the four important components of a flower, the four whorls. Okay, whorls of a flower. What are they? Calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Okay, these are the four whorls. So let us draw a typical flower. Okay, it is a bisexual flower, that means it is having both the male and female reproductive organs. Peduncle, peduncle, receptacle. Okay, now the outermost whorl is the, what we say, the sepals. Okay, sepals, they appear green in color mostly, but in flowers like gulmohar they can be colorful. Okay, sepals, their main function is the protection of the flower in the stage when it is a bud. Okay, so sepals are coming under the whorl that is known as the calyx. Okay, now inside this again we have the another whorl which is called the corolla. Okay, so this is the petals. Okay, so the petals together they come under the whorl that is known as the corolla. Okay, and then we have the female reproductive structure. Okay, which is the gynoecium. Okay, so androecium is the male reproductive structure, whereas the gynoecium is the female reproductive structure. So this, what we are seeing here, this is the female reproductive structure, and what are the different parts? This is the stigma, style. Okay, and here we have the ovary. Okay, so together this is called the pistil. Okay, so pistil is part of the gynoecium. Then there is also the male reproductive part. Okay, the male reproductive part, this end is known as the anther. Okay, this is known as the filament, and together it is called the stamen. Okay, the stamens together, okay, they compose the male whorl of the flower which is called the androecium. Okay, so these are the different components of the flower, and the outermost whorl is the calyx. Okay, calyx or the sepals. Okay, sepals together form the calyx, that is the outermost whorl. Then comes the petals or the corolla. Then comes the androecium. Okay, which is have the male reproductive parts, and the female reproductive parts, that is the gynoecium, having the stigma, style and ovary. Okay, so the process by which the pollen, okay, pollination is the process by which the pollen is transferred from these anthers. Okay, from these anthers the pollen is transferred to the stigma. Okay, pollens transferred to stigma is called pollination. So if this is taking place within the same flower, okay, it is called self pollination. Okay, or it is taking place between a flower, okay, pollen from a flower in one plant is falling on the stigma of the flower on the same plant, okay, then also it is a self pollination. Cross pollination, okay, so pollination is of two types: self pollination, cross pollination. Cross pollination is pollen from one flower of a plant is going to transfer to the stigma of another flower in another plant, totally different plant, so then it becomes cross pollination. Okay, so this pollination can take place by different agents. Okay, agents of pollination, that can be by wind, water, or insects. Okay, when it is by wind, it is known as anemophily. Okay, when it is taking place by water, it is known as hydrophily. By insects, it is known as ento entomophily. Okay, so if it is wind pollinated, the flowers are generally small, okay, they are not very colorful, and they produce a lot of pollen. Okay, and the stigma, they are generally hairy, okay, so that they can catch these pollens from the wind. Okay, these are some of the features we find in the anemophily pollinated plants. Okay, so suppose it is pollination is taking place by water, that is hydrophily, then the flowers, it will also produce large number of pollen, and these pollen are generally water resistant. Okay, they will be lightweight, they will float, and the male and female flowers are generally present in the different plants. Okay, when they are insect pollinated, generally they will be brightly colored. Okay, brightly colored, and they will have the nectar, they will have the fragrance. Okay, and they will have all these kind of characters that will attract the insect. Okay, and the pollen also generally they will be sticky. Okay, they will be sticky pollen, they may have these kind of spines kind of structure on top of them, so that they can fix onto the insect body. Okay, so these are some of the features we see in the insect pollinated plants. Next, what happens when this pollen has transferred to the stigma? After that comes the process of fertilization. Okay, after pollination, what happens? Fertilization. That is, suppose this is the stigma. On stigma the pollen has landed, so it will derive the nutrition, it will get hydrated, it will form the pollen tube, it is going through the style, and it will reach the ovary. Okay, because this is the stigma, style, ovary. Okay, the pollen will germinate and it will reach the ovule. Okay, ovule. So what will happen is, two male gametes, okay, two male gametes, they will fuse with the egg cell, and they will form the embryo. Okay, so the ovary will convert into, after fertilization, it will convert into the fruit. The ovule cover, okay, the cover of the ovule will convert into the seed coat. Okay, it will convert into the seed coat. So you know very well that the seed is what is important for the, when it germinates, it will form the new plant. Okay, so these are the some of the aspects of the sexual reproduction in the plants. Next we will look at the reproduction in human beings. Okay, so in human beings the reproduction is by sexual method, there is no asexual reproduction. Okay, and then there are the male and the female. Okay, so male and female gametes will be formed. So the male reproductive organ, it reproductive system consists of the four main organs. One is the testis, okay, epididymis, okay, testis, epididymis, vas deferens, and penis. Okay, in the case of female, they are the ovary, oviducts, or fallopian tubes. Okay, and then there is the uterus and the vagina. Okay, so the testis is the main male reproductive organ which produces the sperms. It is located in the scrotum, okay, which is maintains a temperature 2 to 3 degrees lower than the body temperature. It helps in the maturation of the sperm, and it produces the hormone testosterone. Okay, testosterone. Epididymis, the main function is to store the sperm cells. Okay, vas deferens, these are the sperm ducts that are originating from the epididymis. Okay, and penis is the copulatory organs of the male. Coming to the female, the main function of the ovary is the production of the two important hormones, that is the estrogen and progesterone. Okay, and it releases the ovum or egg cells. Okay, whereas oviducts or fallopian tubes, they will receive these egg cells, and they are, like the term suggests, tubes. They will transfer it to the uterus. Okay, the uterus is the site where the embryo will develop. Okay, and the oviducts or fallopian tubes, what happens is, oviducts, it is the site of the fertilization. So fertilization is taking place here, and embryo development taking place here. Okay, and vagina is located between the urethra and the rectum, and it receives the sperm from the males. Okay, so in this way we have seen the different methods of asexual and sexual reproduction in plants, as well as sexual reproduction in human beings. Okay, there are the different examples. So kindly solve the questions, revise the questions at the end of the chapter. Okay, thank you.